Hey, Kristen, this week we're talking about distinguished men getting naked on airplanes, Stephen King's new scary movie about kids who walk, McDonald's is going donutless, and the NFL's fall schedule comes out today.
That's right, Scott. Plus, a Kentucky Derby jockey gets dirty with his whip. A Hall and Oats hotline is a real thing. Cher fights for LA's elephants, and Burger King's Whopper goes to court.
Yikes, all that and much more pop culture silliness this week on the Swish Edition.
You're listening to the Swish Edition because you have nothing better to do.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Swish Edition. It's May 14th, 2025. Kristen and I are back. I'm in Las Vegas. Kristen's outside of Washington, D.C. And look at this, Kristen. I'm wearing my Lost Wages Nevada t-shirt.
Hardy har har.
You know, like Las Vegas. Get it?
I get
Everybody
it.
comes here, loses their wages.
Mm-hmm.
We got the tightest slots in the world. They seem to be getting tighter and tighter. But people still come and people still play. So you look pretty today.
Oh, thanks.
I like your red glasses. Do you always wear the red glasses or you mix it up?
No, I have a million of them because they're all cheap glasses from Amazon.
Oh, you buy the readers.
Yeah, they're just readers.
Me too. I have readers all over the house. Here are my gray ones.
Those are nice.
Yeah, but I don't need them to see my screen. Hey, Kristen, today's episode is called Let's Have a Kiki. I love this song, so I had to educate Kristen to tell her where this came from. It came from a Scissor Sisters song called Let's Have a Kiki. It's a fun song, don't you think?
It's very catchy, very catchy.
So I wanted to do a little history. If you guys don't know the Scissor Sisters, they've been around since the year 2000, headlined by Jake Shears. Several of the people have come and gone from the group, but Jake has always been there. It's kind of a pop rock, glam rock, disco-y. They call it electro clash. I've never heard that word before.
Electro clash? What does that mean?
And they kind of formed in the New York City gay nightlife scene when they first came together. So, and just a little piece of trivia here: the Scissor Sisters' original name was Dead Lesbian. I guess that wasn't. They didn't think that the record company probably didn't think that was going to take off or be received very well by the general public. But do you know
Probably
where
not.
Scissor Sisters, the name, comes from?
I don't.
It's that thing that two girls do when they stick their legs together like that.
Oh, for the love of all that's holy.
It's called scissoring.
I finally figured out where I knew the Scissor Sisters from.
Yeah.
They had a song that was something about dancing. I don't feel like dancing or something like that from, I don't know, the early 2000s. It was very catchy. I don't know why
It's a
I know
good
it.
one.
Yeah.
And my favorite song they do is called Only the Horses. And I absolutely love it. And I once upon a time got one of my friends who was a singer, and I had him come into the studio because I had written a parody version of Only the Horses for the Swish Edition. It did not turn out good. So I've never played it on the air.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
if you don't know, a kiki is a meeting of close friends that sit around and gossip, which is kind of like what Kristen and I do, right? We gossip.
Yeah.
about people.
Let's have a kiki.
Anyway, yeah, we're going to
Let's
do it
have a
right
kiki.
now.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to remind people right here at the top of the show, if you're still listening to the audio-only version of the Swish Edition, we are on YouTube now. You can see my beautiful face, my much younger face than Kristen's.
You are older than me, and you always will be.
I'm
I'll
only
never
older.
let
How
you
much? 6
forget it.
months? I'm only 6
No,
months.
it doesn't matter
older
how
than you.
much. You're just older. That's all. That's all
Wait.
I need to know.
What year were you born?
I don't know if I want to say that. 1970.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm 6 months older than you. Well, you don't tell them your actual birthday, and your social security number, and your address, and
Your mother's
whether-
maiden name.
yeah, your first dog's name, the street you grew up on, whether or not you like to do scissoring, all of that. Oh my God!
Oh dear.
It's so funny. I don't know if it happens very much anymore, if people are still doing it, but there'll be those quizzes online that ask those questions. What's the
Yes.
street you grew up in? What was your kindergarten teacher name? And I'm like, stop answering these questions, you idiots.
Exactly. Stop broadcasting all the potential answers to your security questions
Security questions.
for the
That's
world
right.
to know.
Oh my God. Kristen, I just got back from Palm Springs.
How was it? Did you have a good time?
Oh my God. You know, it's my happy place. And Dale and I say every single time, if we could live there, we would, but it's in California and we refuse to pay California taxes. So we will not be living there.
Yeah, expensive. Expensive place
The
to
house we rented was super cute, had a big backyard and a pool and stuff. But the house was smaller than our house, but 4 times as expensive.
live. Wow.
So, I mean, you could get a 4-bedroom house there for about $3 million.
Holy shite.
Yeah. Oh, your house would be several million. It's
Wow.
just ridiculous. But we can afford to go on vacation there, so we do that. And we love the drive through the desert. It's really cool. We don't take the highway. We go through the 1-lane desert roads through Joshua Tree, and
Fun.
it's really, really. Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh my God, you're going to
Never.
California this summer. You should go there. It should be part of your trip.
I'm not good with California geography. I have no clue of where Palm Springs is in relation to like Orange County, San Diego, where we're going.
Hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you guys would love it. Although not in the summertime. Nobody goes there.
Oh.
You're being an idiot to go in the summertime. We went in May, early May, and it was lovely. We did have a 100-degree day, but mostly it was lovely.
Nice.
And here's the great story. So, our friends Kim and Jim came down. We were there for 5 nights. They came down for 2 of the 5 nights, which was great. And we had a lot of fun with them. And I decided that I was going to take them to my happy place. Literally my favorite hotel in the entire world,
Which is?
the Parker Palm Springs Hotel, which was completely designed by Jonathan Adler. It used to be the Gene Autry estate. It was Gene Autry, remember the singing cowboy from the movies way back?
Sure.
It was his estate, and now it's a hotel. And I've done several events there. I used to be a corporate event planner, and I did several events at that hotel, and I've stayed there for fun. I literally, once upon a time, checked into the villa that Brad Pitt and Angelina had just checked out of. That was fun. I saw them there. I've seen Tina Fey there. I've seen, who's the guy who hosts Price is Right?
Bob Barker?
No, he's dead. The other one.
Drew Carey.
Yeah, I saw Drew Carey there. I've seen tons of celebrities there. Anyway, so we're sitting at Norma's, which is an outdoor restaurant. We're having brunch. And in walks Richard Attenborough. Do you know him? He was in the first Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
He's been in a million things.
He does
And-
tons of voiceover.
Yeah,
stuff.
so he sits down with his family at a table on the other side of the restaurant, and I nudge Dale. The Kim and Jim had their backs to these people. I nudged Dale and I said, "Oh my God, it's the guy from Jurassic Park." And he's like, "Oh my God, it is." He said, "Do you think I can get a picture?" I'm like, "You have to. We're not going to bother him." But, and Jim across the table goes, "Who do you think it is?" I said, "It's Richard Attenborough from Jurassic Park." And Jim pulls out his phone and he's like, "Doot, doot, 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 doot." Well, this is
He's
a
dead.
miracle. Richard Attenborough died a dozen years ago.
But he looked just like him?
Dead ringer. Dead ringer.
Wow.
And I said, is it David Attenborough, his brother? Because he's still alive. And we never could figure it out. But then on the other side of the restaurant is Anthony Bourdain,
Also dead.
also dead. So I'm like, this is where all the dead celebrities come and stay. Honestly. It was spitting image of Anthony Bourdain. Spitting image.
Wow.
I was very disappointed. This is the first time, though, that I've ever been to the Parker Palm Springs and I didn't see a living celebrity. But it was lovely. I had the most amazing lobster and asparagus omelet. Would you ever
Lobster
think of
and
putting those things together?
asparagus. Wow. No.
It was really good. Really good.
Interesting.
I bought more art, of course, but not at the Shag store. I bought some new art. And a very weird thing happened down there. Talk about scams, right? We're just talking a minute ago about how you shouldn't answer all your security questions online. But I got the most disturbing scam telephone call of my entire life. So I'm in Palm Springs. I don't answer. You're probably like me. I don't answer my telephone, my cell phone, unless I know who's calling me.
Never.
If you don't, I don't. I let
Never.
it go to voicemail. If it's an emergency, they'll leave a message, right? And I'll get it. And with an iPhone, you can just read it. You don't even have to listen to it.
Exactly.
Well, this message, this voicemail message, was very disturbing. So I ended up listening to it. It was a message saying that Dale, my husband, former host of this show, was in trouble and could be arrested, and I needed to call this lawyer back immediately. Then he said, and here's just to prove that I'm talking who we're talking about. They played a message with Dale's voice. It sounded exactly like Dale saying, "This is Dale Blades. Yes, I'm in trouble. Please cooperate with this lawyer." How fucking scary is that?
That is so scary.
And of course, I look up while I'm listening to this message at Dale sitting across from me.
Thank God.
And I know that he's fine. But what if it had been my mom? What if it had been you? And I didn't know where you were, or I couldn't get a hold of you on the phone. I might be tricked into something like that.
Of course.
But what about our parents?
And what
exactly?
What if you were an older
or
person?
a grandmother?
Yeah. Yes, awful.
Could easily get.
It happens all the time, and they get swindled out of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Hey,
evil.
This happened to Dale's grandmother. Someone called and said that Dale had been arrested and needed $400, and she was about to get her credit card out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's very scary, very scary.
Diabolical.
So they're using their and our voices, Kristen. We're out here every week with our voices. People could take what we're saying and manipulate it and play it for someone else.
So scary.
So scary.
So very scary. And also, I think it gives you a little insight into what celebrities deal with when there are likenesses of them. It used to be sort of a photoshopped picture was what they had to contend with, but now it's what we call deep fakes in the beginning, which is just AI that can create. In fact, I saw something just recently. I saw a post that Jamie Lee Curtis made directly to Mark Zuckerberg saying, I've been through all the appropriate channels. There's an AI video of me hawking some product or whatever it is that I never did. It's completely fake. Please take it down. Horrible.
Yeah. I think it's so scary, but
it is. It's very
scary.
Be on alert.
Be on alert, everybody.
You have to be on red alert all the time these days. Red alert. I don't know if that's a good transition. Hopefully this is just a blip, but one quick update we were talking about from AI to autonomous driving vehicles. There's a quick update on Zoox. So I think I mentioned that one of my favorite colleagues from my old company left and went to Zoox. And I'm sure as an HR person, she's dealing with fallout from this, but they had a crash in Las Vegas last week. Zoox did. And they issued a software recall because of it. I guess it was a pretty minor crash between a Zoox vehicle and a regular car, and no one was injured. But nonetheless, not, good for PR.
Yeah.
So they're in a mad scramble to fix their software. If you didn't know, I think I said this in the last episode, but Zoox was purchased by Amazon back in 2020.
I guess I knew that, and I don't remember things from week to week, but yeah, I'm surprised about that.
Yeah,
They buy everything.
Zoox is Amazon, Waymo is Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they haven't turned a profit yet, as far as I know. But
they haven't even started taking passengers yet.
Yeah.
So I guess they will eventually.
Yeah. So I wish them the best, and my friend Tina. So from autonomous vehicles to self-driving wheelchairs in airports. I must admit, I had not heard about this, but they might become a thing at your friendly neighborhood airport
I'm
soon.
sure they will.
Yeah, like let's automate everything everywhere.
Exactly.
Apparently, self-driving wheelchairs have been a thing since 2017. They were first introduced at Winnipeg's Richardson International Airport in Canada, as well as in Rome at the Fiumicino Airport, and I guess they have them at several airports in Japan. But they're buggy. They're super buggy. The reviews aren't great. And apparently in Seattle, they've been a complete disaster. So much so that
Yikes.
the elderly and infirm have been
For-
walking to their gates rather than dealing with these incessantly beeping and malfunctioning
Oh, can you imagine?
wheelchairs.
I have a huge thing with beeping. I can't even stand when I hear the FedEx truck out front
The
backing up.
reverse beep.
And I guess all commercial vehicles like that are required to have the beeping so they don't kill someone. I don't know.
Exactly.
Thank God they're not on every car. Can you imagine? There's the incessant beeping we'd all be listening to in every parking lot everywhere.
I can't even stand the way that Teslas sound when they are in reverse. Have you ever noticed that they make that horrible sort of tinny, whiny?
Well, I guess they need to
Sound.
because they don't have any sound at all. I mean, people have
All
been
right.
hit by Priuses because they didn't know they were coming.
I know. But
Oh,
it's annoying.
self-drive. I can just see this going horribly wrong. Or grandma, grandma was supposed to go to gate 12 and she ended up at, gate 57 and completely misses her flight because the fucking wheelchair took her to the wrong terminal, right? I don't know. Everything doesn't need to be automated, right?
I mean, I can't imagine that it's saving so much in terms of money or man hours. But I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating the number of people who need wheelchair transport at airports. It just doesn't seem like it's an overwhelming
Oh, it's a lot. Just ask
problem to
Southwest.
solve.
Remember, Southwest has 50 people get on in wheelchairs and only one get off. Because miraculously, they can walk after the flight. They just can't walk onto the flight
Oh, in order to get priority
to
boarding.
get priority boarding.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it's a miracle. It's a miracle. All right. I luckily I don't need a wheelchair, so I don't need to worry about that. But someday could happen, right?
Never know.
I mean, I am aging in reverse. You can clearly see that by looking at me. But you never know.
You never know, Scott.
Speaking of things that I would like to do, though, and if you've listened to the show before, you know that Dale and I used to own an RV and we've traveled around the country. We don't currently have one. We bought and sold it during COVID. Actually kept it for 2 years and then sold it for more than we bought it for, which was great. So it was a good investment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to have another one, but we want to wait until we don't have dogs anymore because it's kind of a pain in the ass to go on an RV trip with dogs. Excuse me. But anyway, would you ever consider, now I know your life not right now, it would be impossible for you to do it, but would you ever consider selling everything in your house, buying an RV and living in there full time, just traveling, you and Rob traveling the country? Would you ever consider doing that?
100% not.
No?
But we've always talked about, if we won the lottery or something, love to have an RV to go to the racetrack in.
Oh,
So I don't know if you remember, we used to have a 28-foot, I don't know, Rob would probably laugh at me and correct me, a really long enclosed trailer
yes.
that we towed the race car to the track in and towed it behind a truck.
You don't
And
have
when we
that
got to
anymore?
the track, no, when we got to the track, we would unload the race car and build our little home for the weekend that had everything we needed except a bathroom. We had a blow-up bed, we had a coffee maker, a microwave, heat, air conditioning, the whole thing.
Nice.
But we had to trek to the bathrooms. And so we always said if we won the lottery, we would buy an enormous RV and hire a driver to take us back and forth to the track so we could go in comfort and style. But live there full time? Hell no.
Okay,
No
well,
desire.
there are people doing it. And one of my friends who's my age, his name is Dan Parks. Danny. I know him as Danny. I've been friends with him since the 4th grade. We went all the way through school together. And he's out here in Vegas every now and then, so I get to see him and his lovely wife, Sherry. Oh, shit. I should know. Sorry, Danny. Anyway, they love to travel and they love RV life. He even went to a special, intensive, several months long RV school.
Wow.
So he learned all the plumbing, the electrical, HVAC, everything. That boy knows how to fix everything on in his RV, and I'm sure he's saving a friggin' fortune because there's a lot of things that can go wrong on those things. Anyway, he's retired. She can work remotely wherever she wants. She just needs Wi-Fi. Sometimes she has to go on a business meeting, but they can just drive the RV to a business trip. They can just drive to a airport and drop her off. Yeah.
Yep.
But they're in the process of selling all their stuff there in Williamsburg, Virginia, where you and I grew up, and they're going to live 24/7, 365 in an RV on the road.
More power to them.
Yeah. He just pointed out to me yesterday, they still own and rent out 2 houses. So they do have a backup plan. If all the shit hits the fan, they have somewhere they kick the renters out and go live in a real house again.
Yikes.
I personally think it would be fun to go on extended vacations, but I think I would need a larger thing. I need to be able to get away from Dale. We like that we live in a 2-story house, so like he can go up and I can go down, or that kind of thing. I don't
separation.
Know if I'd want to be right on top of him well, I do like being on top of him, but not all the time. Not all the time.
Lord have
Plus,
mercy.
I have an extensive art collection. I have over 100 pieces of art. A lot of it originals that I'm not going to part with. So where would
Can't
all that...
put all that in an RV. No.
Plus, I have enough Christmas decorations for like 4 trees. Where's all that going?
No, that's not coming with you, my friend.
No. So I don't think... Plus, I have, all my collectibles and my Pop Funkos and my...
Yeah, no. You're too much a creature of comfort. There's no way you're living full-time in an RV.
Plus,
I don't see it happening for you.
My clothes. Where would all my... I have over 40 pairs of sneakers.
How would you function without a pool and all of that? Like, you couldn't use a public pool? No, that's not happening for you.
I could totally live without a pool, but I can't live without my sneakers and my Christmas decorations. So, Danny, I'm not doing it, but more power to you.
Yes, more power to him.
And I hope you did keep a couple Christmas decorations, because when we had our RV, we had this little 2-foot tree. It was cute. Cute. You got to have Christmas decorations in your RV.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
on a smaller scale.
On a smaller scale.
Here's a super fun thing from the file of like fun and pointless, I guess. I happened upon this online at some point in the past week. Did you know that there is such a thing as a hotline that you can call if you are craving a hit of Hall and Oats music? They call it the Hall and Oats hotline. Yeah. And so you call this phone number and there's, a menu, and you get to choose between, 3 or 4 songs like Man Eater and some other ones. Rich Girl, whatever. I can't remember the other 2.
Rich Girl was number 2. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I listen to. And it plays it on your phone, which is pretty pointless because anytime you want to listen to any of their music, you just, stream it wherever. Yeah. But it's still sort of a fun thing to do. Yeah. So apparently it's been around since 2011. Wow. And just recently I discovered it this past week, and in Googling it found out that there was a short period where it went away. It was discontinued. And there was enough of a groundswell of popular opinion that someone went on change.org and created a petition to bring it back.
Wow.
So it's back. It works.
Wow. Well, if you guys want to call it, I called it this morning just to see if it actually worked, and it does. The number is 719-26-OATS. That's 266-2837. And if I get up the gumption, that number might be right here at the bottom of the screen. if I remember to do it, Kristen.
It's a fun, cute thing.
It is fun. It's totally fun. I don't know that that's really what a change.org petition is for.
Exactly.
It should be for serious shit. But oh well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But a bright spot in your day if you're a Hall and Oats fan. Meanwhile, happening today, the 2025 NFL schedule is going to be released. I'm so excited. Love the lead up to football season.
Yeah.
Especially for my team this year. The schedule's going to be released officially tonight at 8 p.m.
Right.
Eastern Standard Time, but there are a few things we already know.
Yeah.
So we already know that the Broncos are going to play the Chiefs on Christmas Day. That's a fun one.
Okay.
The Bears are going to play the Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday.
Right.
And the Eagles are going to open the season against the Dallas Cowboys on September 4th.
September 4th. They
season.
start. I thought they used to start in late August, but I guess
No,
September
it's
4th.
always the 4th.
Always September 4th.
It's always, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's always the 4th, but it's always the first week of September, I think.
Yeah. And the first game is always Monday night, or is the 4th a Monday night? Do we know?
I should know that. I don't think so. I don't think it's necessarily always a Monday. I recall from years and years and years of Outer Banks beach vacations, when we
The
were
4th is a Thursday.
going. Okay, so see, it's not
That means
the
it's
same
going to be
day.
on. Well, that means it's going to be on Amazon then, because Amazon has the Thursday night
Has
game.
Thursday night games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Prime. Yeah.
So I just always recall that our week at the beach was always the first week of football season.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we know. Everything else is a secret until 8 p.m. when it comes out.
How much fun would it be, Kristen, if the Washington Commanders would come out and play
To play the Raiders?
Raiders, and you guys could come and we could get sweet tickets.
We would love that. We'll keep an eye on the schedule and
Would you
see if we
come?
can make that happen.
That would be
Gosh,
so much fun.
that would be so much fun.
So much fun.
Another quick football thing we've talked about, Shadur Sanders,
Yeah, last week.
Deion Sanders' son, drafted in the 5th round to the Browns. I saw this online. This is after the fact because this was tweeted out by KFC right after Shadur was selected by the Browns.
KFC, the chicken place?
the fried
Okay.
chicken place. Yep.
Yep.
KFC tweeted, the Colonel was rejected 1,009 times before finally landing our famous original recipe. Sometimes all a Sanders needs is a little time to cook. Congrats.
Hey.
Congrats to Shadur. Isn't that cute? Love it.
Shout out to whoever's running KFC's social media accounts. That was pretty good.
I loved that.
You know, it's very important. I don't know if a lot of companies really focus on that, but it's funny. Sometimes you go to someone's Instagram page and they haven't like posted in like 3 years, and it's like you're missing a golden opportunity, Doritos or
To jump
whoever.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, be out there. Wendy's is really good at it. KFC's really good at it. Most companies are good at it. Some of them suck. You hire an intern, get a summer intern, make them do it.
I think companies are investing more and more in that.
Yeah. But you have to have a style
Smart.
guide. I cannot stress enough that if you're going to have someone doing your social media, make sure they have a style guide and they know everything there is to know about the brand inside and out so that they don't F it up.
And so that there's consistency.
Consistency in message and look and feel and tone.
Yeah.
And get the colors right? Know the
For
colors.
God's
of your
sake,
company.
get the colors right.
Get the colors right. Speaking of sports, Kristen, this is not a sport. And I'm going to just do it. I do it every now and then, and I feel very, very strongly about it. And if you hate me for it, I don't give a shit. If you're a horse racing lover, fuck you. I think the horse racing is not a sport. It's mean and cruel. It's animal cruelty. And if you enjoy it, and if you celebrate it, and if you put a hat on and drink mint juleps and stand in the mud, you're a fucking asshole. And I will not apologize
Not to
for
put
that.
too fine a point on it. Yeah.
You know what I do like, though? Steeplechase. I know they do that out there near you guys. I've been there several times. That's humane. They're not forcing them to run on a track at top speeds. They're just jumping over things. It's much nicer. And they don't whip them. Why am I talking about this story? The Kentucky Derby was what, last weekend? And
yeah.
The jockey that won, Junior Alvarado, was just fined $62,000 because he whipped his horse 8 times instead of the allowed 6 times. Please give me a break. Please, there's a rule that says you're allowed to whip your horse 6 times,
But only
in a
6
2-minute
times.
Yes, in a 2-minute race. Fuck you. Fuck you for riding the horse, and fuck you for making him run, and fuck you for whipping him into doing it. And heaven forbid, if he breaks his leg, we're going to kill it. It's really shitty. And this is the second time that Junior Alvaro has broken the rule. He's been fined before and banned for the sport. Not suspended, I guess is the word.
Suspended, yeah.
The $62,000 fine was about 20% of his winnings. He won $310,000 because he won the Kentucky Derby. I don't remember the name. Oh, Sovereignty.
Sovereignty is the name of the winning horse. There you go.
So there you go. If you have a counterpoint to what I've just said, you can email me at talkback@swishedition.com. Don't tell me you watched it, Kristen, because I don't want to know.
No, I didn't. I feel largely the same way. Yeah. But speaking of other things that should be banned on a somewhat more lighthearted note,
yes.
We talked last week about a whole bunch of different Lay's potato chips flavors that were winners of the contest, whatever. I found the Korean style fried chicken flavor Lay's potato chips.
Did you buy
them? At the Target in Williamsburg.
Okay.
I bought them. I couldn't wait to open them.
All right.
Chemicals abound. They were
not good.
They were pleasantly spicy and very flavorful, but unfortunately the flavor was mostly chemical compound.
Aftertaste?
Aftertaste.
Aftertaste.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone else try it? Because
yes, my 7-year-old tried it. Too spicy for him. Yuck. Right. Spit it out into my hand. And then I thought, well, I don't know. Rob likes Korean fried chicken and spicy things, so I brought them home for him to try. And he also concurred with these taste like chemicals perspective.
In the garbage?
Into the garbage. It was
Did your mom try them?
No, because she's very sensitive to spice. She wouldn't have liked them.
It.
Chemicals or no.
Well, that's too bad. So we get all excited about new flavors, and then it turns out to be poo. Poo on a stick.
I would still try some of the other ones. I would still try what was the other one? Bacon and grilled cheese and bacon or something. I would try that if I found it.
Yeah. All right. If I see it today, I'm going to I'm not going to the grocery store today, but I might go tomorrow. I'll see if I can find anything interesting that I can report back. Kristen, I have another update from our last episode. We told everybody because our last episode happened to fall on May 7th, which was the deadline finally
supposed deadline
for the real ID if you wanted to fly. Well, our fucking government. This is not political. It's just stupid. Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem announced that morning that passengers without a real ID could still fly after all. So all the buildup, all the ridiculousness of forcing people to the DMV and wait hours and hours and hours.
The people that were paying money to get DMV appointments at the last minute, and
they have not. They're not enforcing the rule. They're not enforcing it because they realize so many people still don't have it. Fuck you, Kristi Noem and Homeland Security and TSA for not sticking to your guns and holding people's feet to the fire. A deadline means nothing in this country. It means absolutely nothing.
It does seem really stupid. But I would also say we had some discourse about this topic, if you will, online on Facebook.
We made some people upset.
Yes, and one of our high school friends, Holly Canada Barlow, pointed out, rightly, that this is a much more tedious task for some people, for women. I think I even said this when we first talked about it. It's much more difficult for me than for you to get a real ID because I have to go find my flippin' notarized marriage certificate from almost 21 years ago.
Do you not? I mean,
I have it.
Yeah,
I do have it.
I do not know where it is. Okay.
I do have it. Yeah. But it's a pain in the ass for a lot of people. It's a pain in the ass for women. It's a pain in the ass for the elderly. I know you're not disputing it. I'm just saying.
No, and I get that.
It's more arduous for some people than it is for others.
But not impossible.
But not impossible. And there certainly has been plenty of time to navigate those things about the process that are a pain in the ass, I would say. But so are they ever, I guess the question is, Christy Nome, are you ever going to hold people
No,
accountable to do it? Because
no.
if
The,
not, then what is the point?
do you know how much money was spent? How many millions and millions of dollars have been spent getting this up and running or across the country and on the federal level? And then they're just not going to not enforce it?
Yeah.
How much time? How much more time are they giving people? I think
Yeah.
what they should have done on May 7th is when someone walked up to get on their flight, and I don't care where they're going, if they were going to a funeral or if they're going to a vacation or going to, it doesn't matter where they're going. They should have been turned away and said, you had years. You had years, motherfucker. Go home or bring your passport. I don't have a passport. I've never had a passport. Well, then you're a fucking idiot. Why don't you have a passport?
Because they
What
live
if
in
all
the
the
U.S. and they've never traveled
What if
abroad.
all the shit hits the fan? Or what if they accidentally kill someone? They need to leave the country quick. These people are idiots.
That's a reason to have a passport in case you decide to be a murderer and you need to flee the country.
It could be an accident, Kristen. You could accidentally kill your husband, and then you need to go.
Right. What's your backup plan?
Hightail it to a country that doesn't have an extradition policy with the United States.
Oh, my
Get there
Lord.
quick.
Well, I don't know. From that topic to the topic of people
you know what?
in...
Stop.
Oh, dear.
You can wait a second. Because when I say something, I need you to back me up. If you don't agree with me, you can agree with me offline, but not in front of the world, Kristen. I need you as my best girlfriend in the whole world to back me up with no matter what I say. And I mean it. I mean it.
Since when have I ever done that? Oh my God. You're insane. I agree with you that the TSA failed completely in not holding people accountable, for heaven's sakes.
We can move on. I was totally kidding. Totally kidding.
I know you were, because you would never say something like that in your right mind, because I've never just given you a blanket agreement on anything. If anything, I'm mostly inclined to disagree with everything that you say.
She agrees. She disagrees with most everything I say. We don't agree on anything.
Some things we do.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is a funny one. Well,
we both love cheese and wine.
The topic, please let me continue. From the topic of crazy idiots behaving badly in airplanes and airports, we have yet another one. And this one, longtime listener and one of my dearest friends, Candace, brought this to my attention last week.
Candace.
Yes, thank you, Candace. So this guy, James Rondeau, who is, or was potentially, the director of the Art Institute of Chicago, he's now on a leave of absence. Because he was on a flight to Germany recently and he took off every single stitch of his clothing.
In first class.
He blamed it on, I don't know, some new medication he was on and, you know, a contraindication with alcohol. Like he tried to say, oh, I'm on this new medication and I was drinking and they interacted and I was out of my mind or whatever.
I've been really, really drunk before. I don't think I've been that drunk.
And never taken off your clothes on an airplane. Yeah.
No.
I've flown to Germany several times. I can report it is not required to take off your clothes when you're flying over the Atlantic to Germany.
Good. That's good.
In case you were wondering. We don't know the follow-up to the story yet. Maybe Candace will tell me after this episode airs if he was charged, if he was banned, if he was separated from his duties, if he was fined. I don't know, but good Lord.
He should be, if nothing else, he should be banned from that particular airline because, did we remember what airline? We don't know which airline it was. It doesn't matter.
Remember.
At least he didn't also poop in his seat, like the woman last week. But nobody wants to look at a middle-aged or older man's naked ass, while they're trying to enjoy their
a plane
in-flight beverage.
Horrendous.
That's horrendous and horrible. And I hope he gets the help that he needs.
I do too.
I mean, taking off your clothes is one thing. I just keep everything on, including your shoes. Nobody wants to smell your effing feet on the airplane.
Yeah.
I also don't want to look at them.
Oh, God, here we go. You're so obsessed with flip-flops, for the love of God.
More people behaving badly, Kristen. This happened right in your neck of the woods.
I know.
Fairfax, Virginia, McDonald's has somehow decided they needed to ban customers under the age of 21 because of the horrible, nasty gangs of upper middle class kids fighting and causing mayhem after school lets out, or sometimes during lunch when they leave campus on without permission.
I think the characterization of horrible and nasty was your editorial. I don't think they said that, but they cited violence and disrespectful behavior by these packs of
Yes,
kids.
horrible and nasty. Hey, listen, where are the school administrators? Where are the police? Where are the parents? Do the parents not know what their kids are doing after school, between school and when they come home? And where's the discipline? If you found out, if my parents found out that I did something like this, I had been with a group at McDonald's and we were so unruly that we were kicked out.
Oh my gosh.
I would have been
hell to pay. And case in point, do you recall, you have forgotten everything about our youth, so you probably don't remember, but there was a time when we used to go to the Pizza Hut that was on the corner of Richmond Road and Long Hill after football games on Friday nights, right? Behind James Blair, when Lafayette used the field at James Blair.
Okay.
All the kids used to go there and have pizza and Cokes and whatever on Friday nights. My parents made a habit of popping in every once in a while just to see what we were up to. Like, it wasn't like you, right? Like that, this is where we're going. And I don't know, like they were, involved and made sure that we were behaving the right way.
Do you remember after the prom?
Yeah, let's go there.
You don't want to talk about that?
I don't think we should.
How could we not talk about that? Really?
I don't know.
There was nothing bad about it. Why shouldn't we talk about it?
I don't know. It just seems very personal, but go ahead if you want.
Kristen and I were completely naked in this hotel room.
We were not. Stop it.
So we went to the prom together. This was her senior year. I was a junior. I was a year behind because I failed the third grade. Anyway, it's true. I had to do the third grade twice. I was stupid. I was a stupid kid.
You were not stupid. It was because you moved to the
Boonies
the dirty south of North Carolina, and you couldn't understand.
North Carolina.
You couldn't understand you couldn't understand their thick Southern accents coming from
We had
Danbury.
moved from Danbury, Connecticut. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that. We moved from Connecticut, forget where, to a little town called Kernersville, North Carolina, which is this tiny little hick town halfway between Greensboro and Winston-Salem. My dad worked at those airports for Piedmont Airlines. Anyway, yeah, I couldn't understand. But anyway, back to the prom. We went to the prom, Kristen's prom. She wore light blue taffeta. I wore a white tuxedo with tails.
And a blue bow tie.
And it was about this wide. I mean, this is how skinny I was. See this pen? People who are that skinny should not wear tails. I look like an idiot.
You did not.
And we drove your father's Mercedes. Your father let us drive the Mercedes to the prom.
Yeah, it was a 280 SEL, big, long, honking Mercedes-Benz.
And a bunch
sedan.
of us bad kids rented a hotel room way up Richmond Road, way up in, I don't know, near the Pottery or something. We're way up there. And I don't know how my mom found us, but she came and found us. And she drug our asses out of there because, of course, we had beer. Imagine that.
I just remember
a junior and a senior in high school. How dare they drink beer?
I know. I just remember hearing a knock on the door and someone said, "Oh my God, Scott, it's your mom."
Jesus.
And every single teenager beat feet into the bathroom, and we all thought, well, we'll just hide we'll hide 20 kids
in the bathroom
and 6 cases of beer in the bathroom, and it'll all be fine.
Oh. If she knew all the other shit.
All right,
that we were up
stop.
What, you think she's watching this show? She ain't. There ain't no way. She would not lower herself to my standards.
You're probably right.
Anyway, poor McDonald's. I'm sorry that you have shitty kids in one of the most. So it's one of the most affluent counties in the entire nation. And this is how our public school kids are acting.
This particular one, I think they said was the Franconia one, which is like over close to 395, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Alexandria.
I don't go to that level.
Alexandria, part of Fairfax. But anyway, it is very. It's a dismaying thing to read that high school kids devoid of alcohol or drugs. This is just kids getting out of school and being assholes in the McDonald's.
Absolutely assholes. I have one solution. It'll help. Uniforms. Every school kid in America, from kindergarten all the way up, should be wearing a fucking uniform. It
How
helps.
in the world does that help with
It helps.
disrespectful behavior in a McDonald's after school
because
is
they're
over?
dressed nicer, and they should have respect for their elders. They should have respect for public property or for
I agree with that,
personal
but
property.
I disagree that wearing a uniform helps with that.
Then you just don't know. You just don't know.
Oh, I
Do
just
the
don't
research.
know.
Do the research.
I don't need to do any research.
They should also feed them breakfast and lunch, and it should be free every day.
If you can't
For
afford yeah.
No, for every single kid, there should be no money involved. It should be part of the deal. All right, so let's move on because I could just go on and on. I have lots of.
I'll tell you, all worked up.
I'm going to tell you how to raise your kid. That's what I'm going to do.
No, you are not. But anyway, while we're speaking about McDonald's, let's move on to the news item that we both saw, which is that Krispy Kreme has backed out of their nationwide deal with McDonald's.
Huge mistake.
Yikes. So about 2,400 out of McDonald's 13,500 stores sell Krispy Kreme donuts now.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen
that was
them.
a new one to me. Never seen it.
Not in any of the ones I go to.
Yeah, no. But they've paused their rollout of this after McDonald's sales slowed below their projections.
Mm-hmm.
And Krispy Kreme's stock plunged 24% after this announcement. Krispy Kreme has lost 70% of their value over the last year. And that's on the heels of McDonald's, who announced last week that same store sales are down 3.6% over last year. And of course, they're blaming inflation, economic uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. And overall, McDonald's prices are up almost 25% since 2019, since before the pandemic.
But so is everything. So is everybody's.
Right, which is not to single them out.
Yeah.
But
I will single them out because I think their menu items are too expensive. And I think what would save McDonald's or get their mojo back and get their most loyal customers back is if they bring the prices down and go for the volume. Because Dale and I went, all right, so we were starving Sunday afternoon. We were out doing errands. And I'm like, let's just get a tiny little bite of something at McDonald's. So we went there. I got one regular cheeseburger, the original little cheeseburger.
Yep.
He got a box with 4 nuggets in it. And that was enough to carry us over till dinner. $8. $8 for that little cheeseburger and 4 nuggets. $8?
Seems like a lot.
We should have gotten a whole meal for that. I should have gotten
a whole meal.
Big Whopper or a Big Mac and a large fries and a Coke for $8.
Not surprisingly, my 7-year-old is a huge fan of McDonald's. Loves a Happy Meal.
Me too.
And of course, we went to Williamsburg for Mother's Day recently, and we stopped. I tried the new menu item, not the snack wrap, which we've talked about here, and I keep looking for that because I want to try this
I don't think
snack
it's out.
wrap
Well, it's
that
not
you
out yet. It's not
say
out yet.
is so delicious.
Yeah.
But they were advertising something called the McCrispy chicken strips, and I tried them.
How are they?
Completely different from a McNugget. Can't compare it in any way. A McNugget, of course, is like processed chicken parts that are squished together into a nugget. Sorry.
Squished.
The chicken McCrispy chicken strips are big honkin' pieces of chicken breast. Unfortunately, I think that's kind of the only thing that it has going for it. It was not the slightest bit crispy. There was no crispiness to it.
Oh, no,
Not
they
crispy.
Can't call it that.
I can't envision how it could become crispy. The flavor was good, and I liked that it was real chicken, but I was expecting it to be crispy because of the name, and it was not.
All right, Dale's favorite thing in the world is chicken fingers, so I need to get him to.
Oh,
try
he would love
this.
them. He would love them.
Let's get him.
As
to
long
try
as
it.
he's not expecting it to live up to its.
Right.
They ain't crispy.
All right, got it. All right, well, McDonald's pull it together, and Krispy Kreme, you made a bad decision. your sales are already way, way down. This could maybe have saved you.
I haven't had a Krispy Kreme donut in so long.
Like butter.
I would love for them to sell them at the
Oh my
McDonald's.
God. But guess what? They're only good the day they're made. You have to eat them within a couple hours of them being made.
You have to go when the light is on.
Don't try buying a box of 12 and keeping them for a couple days. It does not work.
Don't buy them in the grocery store or in the 7-Eleven unless they've just delivered them.
Well, also don't buy them in the grocery store because they jack up the price like double. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, don't buy them there. Go to a Krispy Kreme if you actually want a Krispy Kreme. Hey, Kristen, while we're talking about fast food, they just announced this week that the Burger King lawsuit can carry forward. I didn't actually know this was coming. Maybe we talked about it. I don't remember. Federal judge says yes, there is merit to the case. This is the issue. 19 customers from 13 different states filed a class action lawsuit claiming Burger King's Whopper is shown to be larger in print and TV ads than it is in real life. They claim it's being shown as 35% bigger. How the fuck did they come up with that number? I don't know. What are they doing? Going up to their TV screen and measuring it and then comparing it to the one they bought at the store?
I mean...
Burger King says the size thing is not true, but they do claim that their photographers style the sandwiches more beautifully than the workers do in the restaurants.
Well, of course they do, because that is the nature of advertising.
Exactly.
This is like, how litigious of a society do we have? This sort of thing is ridiculous in that sense. But as usual, I can see both sides of this, because I also think there should be a limit to how beautifully styled your food items should be. I mean, there should be a threshold. Showing something 35% bigger than it is in real life is kind of a lie. I mean,
they're going to have to prove that. And if they are showing it as a completely different product than what they're selling, that seems like it's unfair. However, if they're just making it prettier with little droplets of water on the edge of the tomato and all the things they do to make food look better. I know that a lot of ice cream ads actually use mashed potatoes instead of ice cream because it doesn't melt.
But it's part of your expectation as a consumer. When you walk up to a fast food establishment and you look at the pictures that are advertised on all the plate glass windows.
Yeah.
When you get your food from the counter and sit down, not one person in this country can claim that they are surprised that it doesn't look like what's on the plate glass window. That is how advertising works.
That's how it works. It won't surprise you, Kristen. There was a similar lawsuit against McDonald's and Wendy's back in September of 2023. That was eventually thrown out because they said there was no merit. Just because of what you just said. No merit.
Yeah.
These 19 customers from 13 states filing the class action, they would get nothing anyway. The only winner in these things are the lawyers. So
yeah, that's probably true. Who make money from it.
Yeah.
Switching gears slightly. This is exciting. You and I, the hosts of this podcast, are now eligible for a Golden Globe. Can you imagine? Yes. The annual awards show, the Golden Globes, presented by the Hollywood Foreign Press Organization, has added a Best Podcast to their lineup. Best podcast category. Yeah. Up until now, of course, the Golden Globes have only honored TV shows and movies.
Right.
So the new podcast category is going to feature 6 nominees chosen from among the 25 most listened to podcasts that have, quote, made a significant impact over the past year, celebrating the creativity and influence of creators worldwide.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. It could happen.
It could happen. But so I was really excited about this story when I first read about it until I read this one line. The 6 nominees are coming from the 25 most listened to podcasts.
Are we close?
Guess what? They need to change that sentence to... The 6 nominees will come from the top 400,000 podcasts. That's ridiculous. Kristen, can we possibly go from wherever the fuck we are now to the top 25 before January?
I think we can do it.
Do you? All right. We should make...
Yes. I'm going to create a vision board. I'm going to manifest it into existence.
Well, in case I hadn't mentioned it before, the podcast is going until the end of June. Kristen and I are going to do all of May and all of June, and then we're taking July and August off as good kids would do. Take the summer
Take the
off.
summer off. Well, shit. That means
Yeah.
we have to get into the top 25 in the next month.
No. We have till January. So yeah.
Okay.
So we
okay.
still have the fall. So we'll be back on. I think it's September 10th when we're going to start season 16.
We got to come up with something spectacular.
I know. Topless episode.
No, that's where I draw the line.
There.
Bottomless, maybe. No one would know.
Yeah. We're gonna have to hurry this up. We're already at an hour.
Okay, hurry up.
While we're talking entertainment, I would just want to point out that Seth Rogen's The Studio at Apple TV Plus has been renewed for a season 2. I'm very excited about it. It's a very fun show. And you've got some shows that you're enjoying.
I do. I want to talk about 3 things super fast.
Yeah.
First of all, I think I said this on the last episode or maybe the one before. I was extremely anti the reboot of the Four Seasons show on Netflix, which is of course a remake of one of the best movies of all time, quintessential 80s movie called The Four Seasons, which was written, directed, and starred Alan Alda, of course, and also had Carol Burnett, Rita Moreno, a whole bunch of. It was just the most flawlessly executed movie. I loved it to bits, and I've seen it 1,000 times. And I said before on the show, whatever they're doing on Netflix, great people, Steve Carell, Tina Fey, the whole 9 yards, it's going to suck because it will never be as good as the 80s movie. So I watched the whole thing and I'm completely conflicted and I have a love-hate relationship with it. And it's because, when I watched the original, the characters were my parents. I was relating to that movie as the daughter of, right?
Yeah. And now it's us.
And now it's me and it's
us.
my contemporaries.
Got it.
And so I've seen it in a whole different way. I think I have to give them credit. They did it. They did a great rendition of it. Coleman Domingo, who I haven't seen in many other things, was flawless in this show.
All right, we got to put it on our list. I somehow forget about Netflix shows, and I need to get back.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch. And I would also say
Wait,
Will
you watched
Forte.
The whole thing since last time we talked.
I have.
Wow.
Will Forte. I hadn't seen him in anything other than SNL, and he was great in this.
I love him.
I'm trying to move us along. Two things that are coming. A new Lord of the Rings movie called The Hunt for Gollum. So this is, I assume this. Oh my God, you don't like the Lord of the Rings movies?
I hate shit like that. I hate
Okay,
fantasy.
well, you have no idea what you're talking about then,
I do.
and we
I've
will
watched
discount your opinion from here on out. So the new one is coming, which I assume will be the anchor for a new trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So there was the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then there was the prequel, which was the Hobbits trilogy, and I will raise my hand and admit I have seen none of those. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, I loved and have seen all of them over and over.
Horrible.
They're amazing.
Okay.
But this one, Andy Serkis, who of course is the actor who voices the character of Gollum and Smeagol, he's taking over as the director and taking over for Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson will still be involved as a producer, is what I was led to understand.
Yeah.
This movie was supposed to come out originally in 2026 next year, but it's been moved to 27. So that's something fun to look forward to. Another thing. Did you want to say anything about Lord of the... Did you want to disparage some more about Lord of the Rings before we move on?
If they were making the movie in my backyard, I wouldn't even peep out to see what they were doing.
Because you have no taste. Well, anyway, the other thing that I wanted to hit was that a new Stephen King movie is coming out, and I love all things Stephen King. I've read everything he's ever written.
Okay.
This newest one is based on a novel that he wrote way back in the day in 1966 or 67 when he was still writing under a pseudonym. He wrote it as Richard Bachman, and it was published as part of the Bachman books. So this was his first novel that was published even before Carrie came out.
Okay.
And it is about a group of 100 boys who participate in a long walk. If you fail and if you stop walking, you die. So it's sort of akin to... I'm assuming the renewed interest in this after all these years is because it's a little bit like Squid Game-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
And the book was amazing as usual. As you know, I always vote for books over movies.
Sure.
I don't know how we're going to get all of the exposition in the movie that made the book so good, and I fear that I fear the movie will be a little depressing.
And it's coming out when?
It is coming out. Actually, I don't have any idea. I didn't write that down. Oh, no, yeah, September 12th. September 12th from Lionsgate is the premiere.
And there's a trailer. There's a trailer out now. That's why we're talking about it. The
Yeah,
first trailer for the movie came out.
Yes, yes. And the tagline is, it's simple, walk or die.
Walk or die.
So that's the hook, but I don't know. I've not seen any of the Squid Game stuff, so I don't know how that landed, but it seems like it could land in a depressing way.
We don't know how this will do. Some of the movies that have been made from Stephen King books have been excellent, awesome, and some of them have been very, very disappointing. So we don't know. We don't know which one we'll get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So read the book is my advice.
Read the book.
first.
Read the book. Yeah. All right. Oh, here's my blockbuster news for entertainment. And if you're watching TV, this is important to me as a big, huge fan of everything Bravo.
Eye roll city.
Since the last time we talked to you, Bravo has announced that they are commissioning a new Real Housewives state.
Why?
They're doing the Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
I have one thing to say. Who cares? Who cares? Why do we need...
And millions of people. What is wrong with you? What do you mean, who cares? They're so fun.
Drivel.
Not. I love them all. Well, yeah, I love them all. I've seen them all.
Lowbrow.
Love it. Well, your mama's
Whatever.
lowbrow. Your mama's lowbrow.
Okay. You know what's not lowbrow?
Yeah.
Cher. We are united in our love of and for Cher.
If I could turn back time. I've met her, I've
yes,
talked to her.
I know. You have to say that every freaking time. Cher has been advocating for the elephants at LA's zoo. She came out recently on social media after a period of long silence to advocate for the elephants in the Los Angeles Zoo. Apparently Billy and Tina, those are the elephants' names, are scheduled to be moved from the LA Zoo to one in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
But Cher, like many others, believe that they shouldn't be sent to another zoo. They should be sent to an animal sanctuary so that they can live out their days in retirement.
The way they're supposed to, in the environment they're supposed to be in.
In an appropriate environment.
Not an enclosure that's too small.
Not on display. Yes.
Yeah.
So animal rights activists have long believed and posited that the LA Zoo elephant enclosure is too small and that it is not adequately equipped for these beautiful animals and that it has caused serious health issues for them.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Billy is 40 and Tina is 59. Asian elephants, by the way, have a lifespan of about 60 years.
So why would they move her? So ridiculous.
That's right. So I agree with Cher. They should go to a sanctuary so that they don't have to be on display anymore.
And think about the trauma of them being moved from California to Oklahoma.
How many hours is it going to take over the road to get those? There's no way they could fly them, could they? How would they? I can't imagine.
They have flown elephants before, but I don't think they should. And oh man, I hate zoos. Sorry, please don't go. Please, when you guys go to California, please don't go to SeaWorld. Just do not go there. Do not go there. Kristen, if you go, don't post pictures about it because I'll get you. I will comment. Don't go.
One of Max's godfathers took him last year when we were there.
Don't go.
He loved it.
Well, of course he did. But please don't support that company.
I know.
We shouldn't be going to Busch Gardens either because it's the same frigging company. But it's tough. It's tough because we loved Busch Gardens so much, but at least they don't, they only have a couple Clydesdales there.
Clydesdales, yeah.
Yeah, they don't. Clydesdales are okay. You can have Clydesdales in a nice fenced-in area with grass. That's fine. Oh my God. But not fish in tanks, Kristen, performing for people. Please don't take him to that again.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know you have mixed
I'm very
feelings about
conflicted.
this.
I know.
You're very conflicted. But the kid would live without seeing a whale jump out of the water. Seriously, he'll live. Take him to Disney World instead, Disneyland. I know, we talked about that too. You'd have to sell one of your cars to be able to afford to go.
That's a whole other topic for another time.
All right, and this last story is going to be a topic for another time because we've run out of time, and Kristen's got shit to do, and I got to masturbate or something.
My God!
We're gonna have homemade pizza for lunch. Yeah, so.
Good for you.
Yeah. I love you, Kristen.
Oh, I love you too. In spite of the fact that we disagree on everything imaginable.
No, there's things we agree on. Like how good looking I am and stuff like that. All right, you want to come back and do this again next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys, we'll be back next Wednesday, May 21st, with another edition of the Swish Edition. We're going to try not to wear these dark colors. Let's wear something springy.
Happy.
Something springy and light colored next week.
I'll try to remember
Promise?
that.
Write it down, bitch.
Yeah,
Write it down.
Okay.
All right, bye, guys. We'll see you
bye.
We'll see you next week.
The Swish Edition is a production of Bethwick Media, LLC. Learn more about the show at swishedition.com. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast app or site. But only if you like us.